All right. Hey, everybody. Joe Giletti here, and I got Anthony with me again. This is part 2, and this is only for the ads managers and the people who are part of my coaching group, or maybe the LOs if you want to show them this. It's up to you. I don't know if it's valuable to them or not. So we've got some questions on how things are going and stuff like that. You guys have already seen the first part of this video, so assuming you watched part 1. But Anthony, overall, like for the ads managers, the real estate agents who are our clients aren't going to see this, just the ads managers.
Got it.
We all know that there's kinks in the beginning. Like you and I have been trying to work through them. Your team's been trying to work through them. My team's jumping on board however we can help. So some of the people in this group that is seeing this video are less patient than others. And that's okay because they're paying me to coach them and they kind of want a completed, filled out system. And my response to them is usually like, well, last year I went from 0 to 80 clients and was charging $1,500 a month without any of this nonsense. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like we're doing so much more for the same price or less, depending on how you look at it. I don't see how anybody could complain, but I do want everybody happy. I do want to really provide good quality. And you guys are everybody here, including Anthony, are partners in this mission. I'm not, as you know, not trying to do this alone. Those of you who are partnering with me on the coaching side, we're sharing in revenue on deals that close because I'm bringing the infrastructure and marketing and just coaching all together. And I thank you for your investment into the business. Anthony, thanks you. I mean, this allows us to scale faster. It allows Anthony to focus just on the LO side. It allows me to focus just on the realtor side. And then I'm not shy about it. My coaching clients, you guys, my ads managers, are my leverage point in my business. The more ads managers I have that have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 clients, I'm getting a piece of all that, right? I'm getting a piece of all that because everyone that closes through the LO. So it's a very good system. I think we're all win as a result. But there's been some challenges in the collision of East Coast and West Coast. And let me speak a little bit for the groups. We see stuff inside of conversion and we're like, why isn't this happening or that? And what the heck was that tag? LO didn't call that. And I can say, and Anthony can speak for himself, but I can say the times I've talked to Anthony, he's felt the same way that we feel. He's like, why the heck did that say that? We're still dealing with people. However, in this collision, I'm torn because it's like none of us, including Anthony or I, think it's where we want it to be.
Absolutely.
At the same time, some of our results are actually better than what I expected them to be already. It's true. And so it's not complete, and yet, so let's talk about, I guess, start with the good news, right? What are some of the conversion rates we're seeing and stuff like that inside, with it being but to some of you, it's a mess because you're my OCD people inside this group, and it's like one thing's off. And me, like I can walk through chaos like nothing's happening and just speak the world into existence. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless,
I have a saying. If the moon starts colliding with the Earth, and if I can just take one step to the left to avoid it, I don't panic. I just go like this. It moves next to me. I'm okay, right? So nothing can panic us that well, but the frustration is real. Some of the issues that you guys are experiencing as Joe's clients, we've experienced that, and believe it or not, we've had the top brass over at Conversion speak to us constantly, right? We're constantly modifying the programs, modifying the systems on their end. And like I was telling Joe earlier, if you guys saw part 1, is that they're looking at us going, holy shit, man, you guys are using this in a completely different concept than what we actually created it for. So with that, it comes challenges, right? Because we want to make sure we're fully transparent. Like Joe just said, we want to make sure that realtor is transparent. You guys are transparent. We're transparent. Joe's transparent. And these companies, these conglomerate CRM companies, don't think that way, right? They think everybody needs to be locked in their categories, and we're like, okay, I get that. If I was running a normal type of business model, but this isn't normal. Okay, this isn't normal. So I need to make sure we have all the limitations lifted and all the restrictions lifted, and for everybody to have full transparency. And that's what we're doing. So some of the glitches that you see, for example, I'll give you one example right off the bat, which frustrates the shit out of me, just so you guys know as well. And you guys look at it and you're like, holy shit, what's happening there? And yet it is happening, but it's not reflective on our reports, right? one of the issues of reports, like if you have clients that have bad numbers or no numbers at all, and when you look at that report, the buyer lead report and whatever the case is, it doesn't matter whether we've categorized that as a bad number, right, and put it in the notes, it will still show in the reports as if never contacted. Well, we can't contact that client if there's no number in there, right? But yet that freaking thing still shows in the report like, oh, well, we got 10 leads and 3 of them are not contacted. Why have they not been contacted? Well, that's because we've clicked the button that says it's a bad number, that there's no number or it's a bad number, right? So there are glitches like that, without a doubt, in terms of the CRM. We're working very hard to get that shit done and out of the way, just so you guys know. And that's where some of the complications are. So.
Yeah, same thing with him. Anthony and I talked recently about we were looking at a specific client, and I don't remember which person it was, but we were looking at a specific client, and it didn't look like the calls were being made back from the LO. And Anthony explained to me, and I forget which way it was, but it was either on the desktop or on the phone, that they weren't allowed to click the button to make the call so that it was trackable, right?
Yes.
And so
go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say, so yeah, every loan officer needs to download the app, and then in the app you can make the calls, and it shows in the CRM that they made the call, right? Well, if they used the desktop version of it, it will not reflect that unless they go in there manually and put on their outbound call placed, right? So we're like, shit, man, why does one do it and the other one doesn't do it? Why doesn't the whole damn system do it? So and a lot of these things that we're mentioning, as Joe will tell you, is that we're looking to solve by next week or so. The new version is coming out for us, which has all the abilities and all the glitches hopefully out of the way for us, because we've been in constant communication with Conversion, believe it or not, in terms of letting them know, hey, these are the glitches, these are the problems, these are the flaws that we're seeing, and we need this fixed. I need to be able to create a report that is clean, because without reports that are clean, Joe's not going to know what's happening. The realtor's not going to know what's happening. You guys as students of Joe are not going to know what's happening. We're not going to know what's happening to the full extent. So I need the specific data. Now, the good news is all the data is in the CRM. The bad news is I'm not allowed to choose what categories I want to see, right? So that gives a complication. So I have to use their templates, and the templates are not accurate based on what we want. So that's all that fixed.
All right, so questions just in here, a lot of this stuff. I think people are seeing, most of you, thank you, seriously. Like, I'm not patient either. Like, I'm grateful for the people that are pushing. Iron sharpens iron. Just know that we're as ticked off as you are. I mean, none of us make money unless things are happening. On the other side of that, our conversion rate was close to 2% to pre-approval the last time I looked at the numbers. Overall.
Yes, we had good numbers. There was about 7 clients that we've pre-qualified verbally wise and waiting for. Did the screen freeze? I thought the screen froze. I'm like, wait a minute, Joe's not moving. But yeah, no, it's good responses. We're getting a lot of damn good responses on the text, right? The text seems to.
And that's only happened in the last week to 10 days now. So
yes. So that's happening really damn good. And now that, we're also following up via calls when they're ready for that. I mean, we were doing phone calls from day one, just so you know. You guys know the 5-day protocol. If you guys don't have it, I can send them to them. We can send it to you guys, and so you guys can see that we actually do have a protocol, right? A 5-day protocol, text and email and phone calls. Yeah, text is working really, really well, man. The numbers are solid. And we're looking at this one, just like you said, even if it's a 0.5% closing ratio, holy shit, man, that thing pays out really well. But we're looking for at least 1% to 2%, not like Joe when he was thinking 5%.
An overachiever, what can I say? Yeah.
No,
all right, so whole canyon of difficulty. Anyway.
Joe, I'm losing you here, buddy.
You are?
If you can hear me, are you there?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Okay. No, I am, but you were in and out for a little bit on the voice.
Oh, okay. Well, we're back. It's recording, so hopefully it's better. All right. So Tyler has a question. He says 2 things. Sure. Tyler says, number 1, what's the best way to have the LO transition to me and actually use the real estate agent's name when engaging the leads for a smoother transition?
So in the contacts, just so you guys know, in the text, emails, and vice versa, we refer as that we're working on behalf of the realtor at all times. Okay, meaning that the realtor's name is always in front, Tyler. Number two is that we're looking at to see how we can, and this is something that we're working this week, just so we might create a Facebook group or a Google Calendar or something of that nature where we can connect the two things together when the time is ready to meet with the realtor or speak with the realtor, to where it just goes directly to the realtor and gets notified. So we're thinking whether Google Docs, a Google Calendar for that, or some sort of a messenger Facebook group or whatever the case is on a private level, may be the case, Joe. That
Yeah,
we can,
I mean, right now we've been talking about this. I like it going to the ads manager because I like the ads manager to be able to hand the candy to the person who, you know, paid for the lollipop, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like they get that dopamine drop and they associate that dopamine drop with the ads manager, you all who are watching.
no, that's true.
Like, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they see. Not that
It's true.
I don't know that they lose that from the calendar option, but you know that's just been one of my thoughts.
Well, like I said, we could look at it as a messenger group within the system, right? Because if they have Facebook, then you can message instantly, or even Messenger, you can do that instantly. So you and I, quite frankly, Joe, as well as my team and your team, kind of need to work on that that
Connection,
handoff, right? That handoff.
Yeah. It goes both ways, right? Because guys on the ads management side, I don't know if you've had this yet, but I've had it where I've got the lead and I call it DEFCON 3, and I'm like, hey, DEFCON 3, pass it to them, and that's weird for the LO, right? That's a new, like, they've got to know what to ask for and all that kind of stuff, and Anthony's helping kind of train that out.
Just to touch base on that one a little bit, Joe. You do have, just so you guys know, the realtors do make contact with the loan officers. Okay, some of them are making that contact. So I know, you know, to the ad managers and then to the realtors, but unfortunately, sometimes the realtors reach out to the loan officers. The loan officer may reach out to the realtor, and that happens. Just so you know.
Yeah, we're trying for that not to happen, just in case. You don't want them going around you or us or anything like that. But when I say you or us, I'm talking to the audience here. I don't want to go around you, the ads manager kind of thing. Obviously,
and by the way, if we see that, I'm going to tell you that right now, and Joe's pretty clear on this one with me as well. If we see the damn loan officers ever trying to circumvent any of us, they'll be hell to pay. I'll tell you that right now. Just likewise with, you know, the realtors trying to circumvent the ad managers or Joe or myself, it would be freaking hell.
Because we're all working on contingency, so there's an understanding here that, you know, we're not. Their team isn't working for free. Our team isn't working for free, right? Yeah. So if one of our realtors went to Anthony's team and tried to close a deal, you know what I'm saying? They're going to protect us. We're going to protect.
It isn't going to happen. And this is the thing. I think that me and you, Joe, that we really clicked right away on that, is that respect and honor and trust is a damn key factor for us, especially in the game that we're playing right here. Dude, we're working hard to make this happen. We're not looking at the onesie twosies here. We're looking at the damn big picture that we're looking at, right? And that's what we're after. So just so you guys, the ad managers that we're talking to, if we hear anything on our side or Joe's side or anyone's on the realtor's side, trust assured that we'll clamp that freaking hell down on that one pretty quickly. Okay?
Yeah.
We won't tolerate it. Let's put it that way right now.
So Tyler's second question was, what's the best way to receive info for login to conversion and the loan officer assigned once Airtable is set up? And let me just speak to this one. So guys, inside the Billions in Real Estate team is a link that's just a form. You fill out the form to answer the questions. It goes into the table. Andrea, or whoever Andrea is assigned on her team, or me on my team, then take that and make it linkable inside of Zapier, so that there's a table there that's associated with that agent and that ads manager, right? So that these deals aren't going to anybody else, obviously, right? So they have to make that table, and then they zap. You guys take step 2, and once they tell you, hey, we've got it all set up, go ahead and zap to it. When you go into Zapier, you'll find your name, the name of your client, and you zap to that one, and it's just that easy. So when do you get those? It's been taking a little bit longer because of these conversion things. Normally, a business day to 3 business days should be more than enough to get that whole zap set up for the teams. It's been some of these conversion things that have been slowing it down. However, once you fill out that form, 1 to 3 business, you'll get an email back. So check your email. It'll be from Andrew saying, hey, here's your login and password. It's ready to go. And then boom, you set up the Zap, and that's it. You should be ready to go. You can have everything else ready in your Ads Manager and be ready to go, just waiting on that Zap. Tyler said, did you want to say anything about that? Or I think I
was going to say, just so you guys know as well, like Joe was saying, in your username login, you're only going to see your leads and your leads only. No one's going to be cross-contaminated between any realtors or ad managers or loan officers. That's why we've assigned one loan officer to one realtor to one ad manager, right? Now, if the ad manager has 10 other realtors, then that means I'm going to assign 10 other loan officers to that particular account. But they're still individual. Just in case the ad manager has 10 accounts, I'm not going to put them all together under one account because it doesn't make sense, right? So each one will be individualized going through the process. And
if there's more than $1,000 spent, because one loan officer couldn't handle, like I have a client right now who has $3,000 in ad spend a month. Well, one ads manager couldn't handle that much.
Correct.
Okay, next question. Maybe the loan officer introduced there on the agent's team when they reach out and help with lending or something. I think he was talking about, Tyler was worried about that the agent is front and center, and I think you've already addressed that. Here's Nick. Nick's in Florida, so he hasn't gotten to see the whole thing yet, just because of the conversion stuff. But he said, I think we should have more transparency between loan officers and us, the ads managers, maybe even a weekly call schedule. I feel like, and maybe I haven't communicated enough, but the ads managers and the loan officers are welcome to converse. I think that has to happen. I think that's difficult to not have that communication. And so, like Nick, you can speak to, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you can speak to your loan officer about those deals. Like, we're trusting you guys, right? Not to try and go around or anything. And I'm watching for it. And Anthony is watching for it. But
see, the two Italians looking over the shoulders.
Yeah. But yes, if you need to talk to your loan officer, do it. Like, yes, please. Like, I agree. If you guys need, I don't know if you need a weekly call. That'd be between you and the loan officer. I don't think that's something we'd want to make institutionalized or anything like that. So,
correct. On that note, you guys, just so you know, just because you build a rapport with that loan officer, right? As an ad manager, you build a rapport with the loan officers, whatever the case is. Know that if the loan officer isn't performing, I will replace them. So in essence, don't be concerned if you see a loan officer that got replaced. Okay. And this may be the reason why you may not want to build a complete relationship with the loan officer, because if the loan officer is not following the procedures, they're out. Okay, they're done, because you have a realtor to answer to that's paying you, and the loan officer is not doing their part. It makes you look bad. It makes Joe look bad. It makes the realtor go, the hell with this. I'm not going to continue marketing if shit isn't happening on the other side, right? So just know that if you have loan officers and they get replaced, they got replaced because they're doing a shitty job.
Yep. Hey, and thank you for that. His second question is, do they prefer carry leads directly to the agent's conversion site?
I'm sorry, repeat that question. You're cutting out.
That was my thought. Do they prefer, Kara, that we send leads directly to the agent's conversion site? So you mean, I guess the question for Nick would be, do you mean the conversion site we've set up for that agent? Or are you talking about the agent has conversion and you're sending them off to some other site? Because the answer is, if you're sending them to another site that's not connected to this site, then how does this loan officer know what's happening so that they can follow up on the lead? So the answer is, you're giving that real estate agent track whether they closed or not, and there's a loan officer on the other side of this equation whose livelihood is dependent on those $1,000 in ads being spent on leads that he can work, that now isn't getting all those leads or seeing what's happening with them. So if I'm understanding what you're saying, if it's the agent's conversion site, you all should know this. No, you don't send it to another site. You send it into this one, right? Because that's how we track it to actually make the follow-up happen. If you're asking if it's okay to send leads directly to the agent's conversion site that's set up on behalf of them, yes, that's where they should be going. They should be searching for properties inside of there so the LLC sees what's happening and they can respond accordingly when certain actions are taken that the system identifies as a 5-star buyer.
Yeah, I mean, look, if it isn't in our system, it isn't a lead for us. We don't know. We don't know. It doesn't exist. So we can't do anything to help you if it doesn't exist on our side, you know?
Cool. Number 3, are we able to put the agent's brokerage on their site? Right now, it looks like everyone is working for everything real estate related, and that could be a big problem. Yes, please
So
address this. This has been a big conversation.
let me address this one. The reason we chose everything real estate related name is because it's just that. It's not branded. We're not looking to brand everything real estate related, okay? Because we have so many realtors that we're working under, and that we have so many different states that we're going to bring on board. You guys, obviously, the ad managers are going to go expand your network and your business profile. There's no way for me to say, this is so-and-so Joe's Realty, Anthony's Realty, whatever the case is. It doesn't work that way. I can't, the system won't work that way internally for us. So to answer your question is, everything real estate related is just that. It's a watered down name that doesn't really matter, right? And remember, we're working.
The name's fine. It's just the picture with it. I think they're complaining about. There's this guy in the picture. I mean, I don't want to. I just.
So, and here's why. By the way, Joe, you know this. When you're walking on Facebook, clients don't want to interact with the company or a company name or a brand, right? They don't give a shit about that. What they do care about is that person's picture real behind who I'm communicating with? So that's why we had it there. That's why it worked for us back then. If you want my picture removed with someone else's beautiful picture, be my guest, man. I don't really give a damn.
Yeah. So Nick, to answer your question, I mean, to brand every single now, if they go into the agents, if they're searching for properties, they're inside the system, and they click book a call, that is going to the LO, right?
Correct.
Who's in charge of that,
Correct.
right? And then they take it through, so it's going. So that any kind of branding aspect that they want to do, you all can certainly do that through the retargeting ads, so that they're seeing it and then sending them back into the same system, and then the connection's made, right? I don't think they're too worried about the name at the bottom of the page kind of thing.
And quite frankly, no one's looking at that. The clients are not looking at that, nor do they give a damn about that, all right? The client's only looking, hey, can I get a house and can I get qualified, and what do I need to do to get things done if that's there in their mind, right? If outside of browsing. So to tell you the truth, no one's really looking at the names or looking at the details of the web pages and things like that. They just aren't. It's not that type of client we're dealing with. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. All right, so I've got, I think, one more question. This one's from me, just because a lot of them have been asking, and I wanted you to explain it to them. So we've stayed to California and Florida so far, Washington, Illinois, and
one other state. Can't recall what other state it was.
Yeah, one other. I think Florida was the third one, and then there's people in Arizona. I mean, I've got every time I open up my thing, they're like, "Can we do this state? Can we do that state?" And I'm like, I just want to have it dialed in so that we're not multiplying whatever conversions issues are. I don't want that happening in 50 states and have to change it in each one. We're just trying to get it so that it's like going okay where I like it in California and Florida. Washington's coming on board, Illinois is coming on board. So can you help them understand when we say, okay, let's add a new state, what's the process? I know it takes about 2 weeks. But what's the process, and what's your thoughts on rollout? I mean, I may disagree with you on rollout here. I'm throwing this at you out of the blue, but nevertheless, let's put it in front of all them.
So because we have to assign a loan officer to a realtor, right? And so that means every time we get a realtor on board, one of your ad managers brings on one of their realtors on board, I have to then assign a loan officer to that. That means I have to onboard that loan officer. I have to train that loan officer and bring him on board, go through the process of the CRM program, go through the process of the follow-up calls or the protocols, and then also do a mock runs at that, right? So that way they can kind of get it. And even then, it takes them about 3-4 days to kind of get them intertwined within the system in real-time era. Yep. So it's a two-pronged scenario, right? You have to bring the LO loan officer on board and onboard them, and then you have to also bring the damn realtor on board and onboard them as well too, right? They need to know how to use the system, how to look at the notes, how to look at what they're being called or text or emailed. So the process
Guys,
theoretically.
let me just interrupt you guys. We can do a better job of onboarding the real estate agent. I think once you ads managers really understand how conversion works and that whole onboarding process, we could do a better job of explaining that to the agents. You bring up a really good point there. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's both sides. So typically it'll take about, we hope to have it done within 3 days. We can onboard everybody, right? As soon as you go, hey, the ad manager goes, I got a realtor on board. Let's put them active. We hope to do it within 3 days because there's some technical things that you got to do in between anyways. Then you got the human element. So the reality is it's at least 5 days, 7 days to onboard both sides. Well, three sides really, because you got the loan officer, you got the realtor, and you got the technical jargon that you got to make sure it works all together. So the reality is 7 days. If it happens sooner, that's great. But let's just say 7 days for the sake of the argument.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's cool. So as it relates to other states, I'm trying not to take on all these states. We're trying to just take on a few states at a time. So knowing it's a 7-day window for a specific agent, I've got agents right now in Arizona, I think Virginia, and several other people have given me different states. Can you explain to them what happens? We can get them into conversion. The problem is we're not tracking that follow-up back end with those states until we get conversion to add it in, and then there's costs associated with that and time associated with that. So in terms of state rollouts, what are your expectations?
So the way it works with conversion, we have to, every time we need to bring on another state, it takes some time for them to actually activate that, right? Even though we give them the username password for the MLS, they still have to go in there and manually do what they need to do to open up another state. So just so you guys know, the way realtors have it and the way the Association of Realtors works is that the MLS is only exclusive to per state, right? So, and there are laws, right, on you can't have all the other states unless you have an individual login for every single person. So the way conversion is legally done it is that they create a sub accounts under the main account of conversion that we have that allows us to put in all the other states and MLSs, and so that way one agent can see all the MLSs, all the homes under all MLSs in all states. Okay, so that's how that kind of works, and that's why it takes a little time for. That's why you and me, Joe, we spoke about, hey, give me 4 states or 5 states that you want to bring on board, then I can shoot them all at once, and then conversion can do it all at once instead of delaying that conversion process, right? And that's what it is. So it's technical issues, and there are laws that we have to overcome in order to bring on other states as well, too, just so you guys know.
Yeah. Okay, cool. You still there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine. My computer's just doing something weird.
Mine did too a little bit, but I was like, okay.
All right, cool. So as it relates to some of these new states, we're a week or two out on some of these new states, and here's my thing. California and Florida could keep all of us busy this entire year. You know what I'm saying? And so the other states are kind of a nuisance, but at the same time, we want to grow a nationwide business, and so that's fine. I just don't feel like we need to be urgent about it. But there are a couple states that we've already got several clients in, or people have already got clients in. And so what's your suggestion, Anthony? I'm throwing this out. You didn't know this question was coming, or really any of the others, but nevertheless.
None of the questions I knew they were coming, actually. This is not scripted reality.
Yeah. To the ads managers who want these other states, I know Arizona's a big one right now, and several other. Texas is one.
Yes.
What do you think timeline?
So my thing is that, like we said, Florida is on board, right? We got
Illinois, Washington, Illinois.
Washington. We'll probably bring on another one handful of states total. Let's say another 5 or 6 more states total on top of Florida and California. And really, there should be a lot. Look, dude, once you have success in the state, like Joe was saying, you got Florida and California, you got Arizona and Texas and Illinois and Washington. As ad managers yourselves, you already got a state that works, a state that performs, a state that's working well for you. There's no need for you to jump into other states, right? There's plenty of freaking realtors in that state. that you can bring on board and show them this is working for your realtor that's in your area, in your state, in your county. There's no reason why it won't work for you as well. It's an easier close as ad managers when they bring on these realtors that way. So to answer your question, yes, we're not in a hurry to open up all the other states because we still have some limitations on conversions that we need to work out. But once those thing is taken care of by next week or so, then we can open the floodgates and move forward. Then it's only manpower and human nature on how many loan officers that I can bring on board, unbrainwash their past thinking and put them into new thinking and move forward.
Yep.
So we don't need to go all the states at the moment, but we will, not just yet.
I agree. Okay. So I hope this answers some of your all questions, and you can see, we see the wizard behind the curtain. And
you're behind the curtain, not behind the green wall.
Yeah, that's right. He's I'm at my dining room table. He's in this cool, sleek little office, right? But I went to the beach today, so I didn't go into the office. It's that tough entrepreneur life. Yeah. Listen, Anthony, I can just speak for everybody here. I value the relationship. I value what you're doing with your company. I value our partnership that we're doing and joint ventures. And listen, I will be shocked if we don't close $1 billion. I really am believing and pushing for over $3 billion. Excuse me. It's hard to even say it, right, when the numbers get that big. And I'm excited for everybody whose lives are going to be changed. I did the math the other day, and even at I think it was at $1.5 billion, we would be helping 1,000 loan officers and 1,000 real estate agents to make over $250,000 a year. And we'd be helping all of the ads managers who are a part of this. Several of them will make over $1 million from doing it with just like 20, 30 clients, right? At our numbers at 2,000 per million. And that doesn't include any of the back end stuff. That's just the first 60, 90 days, right? We're not even talking about all the deals that close at 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, right? If we stay on this. So really the biggest opportunity I've ever been a part of, I think. I mean, the mortgage and real estate business are always huge opportunities, but scalability of this, like you talked about that in a little of the first one. They always hear me talking, and I'm this big picture visionary and just go after it and blah, blah, blah.
Trust me, I'm with you.
What are why are you doing this? Why do you believe in this enough to put so much of your time, effort? Because you've already done multi-million-dollar businesses. What's this one to you?
This is something that, like Joe said, it could help a lot of people, number one. And I know that's cliche and bullshit, right? And most people say that, we want to help people. Look, you're about making money, okay, number one. Number two is you're about helping people. And number three is something that you can actually be proud of and take care of all the families involved. Not only the ones that your immediate family, your realtor's family, right? They have families. Realtors have families. Loan officers have families. Joe has a family. I have a family. You guys have families. It doesn't matter whether you're married or not or no kids, but you still have parents. You still have brothers and sisters and everybody else, right? So it's a financial thing that you see that's so goddamn big, right? And on top of that, you are also helping the families that want to get a house that don't even think about how the hell do I go about getting a house, right? Think about I bought my first house in 2002, right? I got married in 2001, June of 2001. And in 2002,
I got married in March of 2001. So
yeah, June 2001, bro. It was, and I got engaged on 1999 at midnight when it was 1999, millennium or whatever it was.
Y2K was going to happen. The world was going to end.
There you go. Remember that? We were actually. It's funny you mentioned that. We were thinking, shit, the whole thing's going to go down at midnight. We were at a hotel party, right?
Yeah.
And anyways, long story short is that when I bought my first house, lucky I was in the mortgage arena because I entered in 99 and I bought a house in 2002. So I knew the process. Back then you had 100% financing. That's what I bought. I bought 100% financing home, no money down, no nothing. I had the freaking realtor cough up some of his commissions to me at that time. I had the seller cover the closing costs.
And you breathed on a mirror to make sure that you could get approved, right? Yeah.
No, I remember the realtors looking at me going, I go, I got it. Don't worry about it. I got everything covered. And sure enough, we closed it. 7 months later, I sold it for $90,000 more than what I bought it for.
Nice.
Right? After all the commissions and closing costs, I ended up netting $60,000 on that transaction. This was 2002, my first home, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I remember my wife thinking, oh yeah, we're going to buy a house. I'm like, yeah, of course we're going to buy a house. She's like, how's that going to done? I go, shit, I'm in a business. I know how this thing is getting done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she didn't know. So a lot of these families that you're putting into the homes, or that eventually will put in homes, is that they don't even know that they could qualify for a house. They don't even know that that their monthly payment could be with the low rates that we have now. Back then they were like 6.5%, 7%. Okay,
Yep.
Most people cry about freaking 4% or 4.25%. Now we're looking at, they're going, holy shit, man! Only a few back then it was like 6%, 6.5%, 7%. What are you talking about, right? And so, but with the rates being this low, the clients can get into a house that's relatively the same amount of payment that they have on the rental. Okay. And what happens when someone buys a house? It's a foundation. It's a foundation to the community, foundation to the family, foundation to everything else. And I'm going to tell you, there have been a couple of times in the past where we've actually told the clients, you're not ready yet. Okay. Even though the mathematics based on what your affordability says you can, we knew there were one hiccup away from collapsing. So we were we're like, you're not ready yet. Move on. We'll come back later and get you ready back then. But you're really helping them. Why do I want to do this? And why we're doing this? And at points it's a struggle, right? But the reality of it is, I see the big fucking picture in this one. I see where we can go with this one. I see what we can do and what we can change on all levels, where people say, holy shit, these two people, Joe and Anthony, pulled the fucking impossible, right? And I see that, bro. I can see that happening, right? Because the numbers are realistically sick in our favor.
Yes.
Right? Even at 0.5%, 0.25%, 1%, it's irrelevant.
It doesn't matter. That's the thing that I wish I could get all the as. It doesn't, like, it almost right doesn't matter. I've done the numbers at 5,000 per million, and it doesn't matter. You're still at 5x, right?
Yeah.
And it's a rule of marketing. Whoever can spend the most to acquire a customer always wins, and we absolutely can, right? We
True.
Help our clients see that. But anyways.
True. That's why even with Joe, when I first met Joe and he was like 5%, and I'm like, Joe, no, even 0.5%, 1%, bro. You're good. You're golden. You're golden child, dude, at 1%. Okay. So don't, when clients and realtors say, you got 100 leads, you only closed one. And you're like, oh, well, yeah, I'm sorry, I only closed one. You're like, hell no. You damn right I closed one. Fucking A, I closed one. You damn right I did.
Yes. Yeah.
You spend $300, $400 on 100 leads. And you got one out of it, dude. I mean, come on, man.
Right.
The ratio
20 times ad spend. Yep. Yep.
So don't be afraid from your realtors or the realtors saying, oh, so I spend $500 and I get one deal out of that. You're like, yes. And what's the problem with that?
Yeah.
On an average deal of $400,000 at 2.5% or 3%, that's 12 grand or 10 grand in commissions to the realtor. What is the problem there? Let's say they pay their costs associated with, your cost and, ad managers and everybody else. Okay. So what? You still spent $500, you made $7,500 or $7 grand or $6 grand or whatever that number is. Who gives a shit? Not only that, but you've also built your future pipeline of the other 98, 99 leads that you had that you didn't convert yet, that you're building for the future, man. So it's two-pronged.
Not only that, the average deal that you get, you're going to get 1 or 2 buyers from that deal too. Not only that, but if you actually work the referrals, how many referrals are you going to get from closing that? Not only that, if you run open houses and yeah.
It's endless, bro. It truly, truly is endless. So when a realtor goes to you, if you guys are ad managers going out there getting the realtors or whatever the case is, when the realtor comes to you and says, oh yeah, so I get one deal out of $500 ad spent and this, I go, absolutely not. I'm giving you 99 potential other clients on top of the one that we're going to close, 1 or 2. And not to mention you build a rapport and you build a referral network, just like Joe was mentioning. So don't think of it as just one deal equals XYZ dollars. It isn't. It never is that way, right? And same thing with the loan officers. It's like, hey, dude, we're building rapport for you, loan officers. You're going to close this one deal. Yes, you're going to make some money on this deal. But the reality is when that client needs to refinance later or do whatever later, they're going to come to you if you build a good rapport with that client, okay? Yes. So same thing with the realtors. Same thing with the ad managers. Same thing with Joe. Same thing with me. It's like, dude, if I do a great job, they're going to come back. Simple as that.
Yeah. play the long game a little bit here. That's what I'm just
Yeah.
encouraging all you to do. That's a decision I made that I'm glad that I made. I'm just coaching here.
Yeah.
I'm glad I can go run a webinar on selling chairs. Like, I know how to do online marketing for whatever I want to do now. This is the biggest opportunity, in my opinion, in all of internet marketing right now. I mean, who else gets to sell $1 billion in product, right? That's hard to do, right? Now,
It is.
our margins are a lot lower, our percentages, but I mean, they're, at the same time, our commissions per sale are much bigger than average because they're houses, right? So, anyways, I digress. Anthony, anything you want to say to my ads managers? Anything you want
What's
to say?
that?
Anything you want to say to my ads managers?
Yeah, Joe, I'm kidding. No, the reality is, look, you guys, the only thing I ask is for patience, really. Because I do have to onboard the loan officers, right? I do have to bring them on board along with the realtors that you guys bring on. And there are some technical issues that we're going through right now, but we're solving a lot of those things. The cool thing is conversions management and upper team is working with us hand in hand. So they've lifted a lot of the restrictions. I'm like, no restrictions, no restrictions, no restrictions. The only thing I ask from you guys is just please be patient and be understanding. Know that the loan officers, as well as yourself and the realtors and everybody, also has lives, right? So don't look at that Monday through Friday, 10 to 6 for right now. Outside of those parameters, just know they will get handled, right? And they will get followed up, and we're doing a lot of texts and emails to get all that squared away as well too. So
Well, also, and as all this tech stuff happens,
yeah,
stuff's still getting converted. Like, it's still converting
Yes.
at far better than 0.5%. So it's kind of like, so I'm torn, with that too. We all want it to look the way we want it to look, but at the same time, the results are there, no matter how messy you may think it is at this point, right? So
yeah. Let me put it this way: if I can eliminate the human touch out of these clients and convert them, I would. But clients still need other people to speak to. They're humans, so just be patient. That's all I ask. Just be patient with it and look for the long haul, like Joe's saying. Don't look at short term. Just now. Look for, hey, what are you at? Where you want to be at? What are you doing? And how do you want to grow your business and your ad managers? The cool thing about this is that, dude, you got someone like Joe that's going to coach you and train you and run the freaking ads and show you everything that you're going to run into, which is fucking priceless. Okay. Number two, you got loan officers that are following up on your shit at no cost to you. Right? I mean, let's face it. You got a whole team of people working for free for you, right? Calling on the leads. And this is the hard part of the business as well, is calling and converting and doing all these things and moving forward. So there's a lot of people at play that are doing a lot of things for you guys as ad managers that I just want to make sure that you guys understand and respect that as well, just as much as we respect you guys, right? Because one of the other doesn't work. Can me and Joe do this on our own? Hell, we were doing it on our own. We could always do it on our own. It's no big deal for us. Can we not hit $1 billion and we hit 100 million? Yeah, okay, we can do that. I'm not worried about that. But we're looking broader, right? And that's the difference.
cool. All right, guys. Well, I hope that answers all your questions. Anthony, thank you for spending almost 2 hours with me here today. I appreciate it.
That sounds cool,
And,
man.
but communication is key, and I appreciate all you're doing. So let me stop this recording. Thanks, guys, for showing up.